Maurice with another video. I am here in the beautiful, scenic, breezy, warm, green country of Peru. I am in Lima actually, and I am sitting in a park in Miraflores, and just kind of enjoying people watching, enjoying the scenery, just chilling. Y'all know how I feel about nature, about being out in the world, and so here I am. I got to Lima maybe like what? This is my second day. This is my second day. So, got here on Friday. Oh, actually, this is my third day because today is Monday. Got here on Friday, and so just have been enjoying it. And I was thinking about what the process for me to get to this point of being able to travel the world, being able to just like enjoy the world, not just travel it, but slow travel it while enjoying it, has taken. And I see online a lot about people, saying that they want to do this and they don't know how to get started, and it might, I think one of the things is that a lot of people don't lack ambition around this, they lack strategy. And I think this can be in a lot of different areas of one's life. But specifically when it comes to traveling, it's that you don't lack the vision, you lack the strategy. And if it ain't you, I understand it. There's a saying where it says, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. That's what we're gonna do here. If it doesn't apply to you, because I'm sure it won't for everyone, just let it fly on past you. All done with love, straight up. This lifestyle requires a lot of strategy, not just vision. Um, for me, it's the vision has been going on for a while. This is something that um, I've done before. I've lived in Mexico before. Of course, just traveled the world before, but this time I wanted it to be different. This time I wanted the focus to 100. No, gracias. No, while I'm in the middle of the video. Um, See, that required restraint, you know? But, but no, but, I've lived out of the country before. And the first time that I lived out of the country, I wanted the experience to be what it is now. And I wanted to kind of like slow travel, figure out different countries, see how I felt. But I realized that I'm not one of those people that can travel with like all of my luggage, all of my stuff. Um, to me, that was too much. That was too burdensome. And so this go around, I am traveling with one backpack and one suitcase. And that the suitcase is a carry-on suitcase. Um, and also too, it required, because me, like most people who live in the States, I have an excessive amount of clothes and shoes and stuff that I don't really use or really need, but it still was kind of this stressor to water down, you know what I mean, my wardrobe to, I think I have something like four pair of pants and maybe like eight shirts, one pair of shoes for going out for like a nice dinner, and then one pair of sneakers, and of course underclothes and stuff like that. But really everything fits into this one carry-on. And then I have two sweatshirts that I fit into my book my book bag, my backpack. And so really that's it. And it's really just been a wave of relief to be able to like pack up and go. And so in strategizing for this, well, the vision was to be able to hop around in different cities, in different cities and countries, and kind of get an idea of what place I like the most, and not be too attached to one place or another. And so the strategy behind that was to pack super light in order to be able to get up and go whenever it felt it necessary to get up and go. And another thing here is that when we were strategizing around the travel, one of the big things was not nailing ourselves down to a location for too long. So, for instance, a lot of the Airbnbs I've been staying at have been for 1 week, and then if it's a good Airbnb, then let's extend it. We'll extend it for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Or one we extended for 2 weeks. I think that was like the longest we stayed in one. And then we'll extend, maybe hop to another one and stay in that for a week or so. Just kind of also figuring out different locations within a country, because I think it's easy to hop into one neighborhood and then you never get to experience the other neighborhoods to find out, maybe you would have liked a different neighborhood better than the other. So that is one thing that is top priority, is hopping around to different locations to make sure that I have a full experience of these different areas before deciding, like, if I want to spend, 2 months in one neighborhood versus another. Another thing about the trip is, especially if you're going to be gone long term, you have to strategize about what work looks like. Making sure that no matter if you stay in an Airbnb or Vrbo or hotel, whatever it is, making sure that the strength of the Wi-Fi is what you'll need, because based off of the amount of meetings you have to do, the amount of like applications that you have to use. Also, another thing is making sure that, my suggestion would always be to get a VPN, just to help, because sometimes an application won't work in a specific country. It might start working. Like for me, Asana would start working, or Monday.com would start working, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's just not working again. So a VPN would help with that. Another thing, of course, making sure that the location that you stay in has good co-working space if you are, if it's going to be more than just you. But also, too, another thing is just making sure that I think I said this already, but the Wi-Fi speed is what you will need, because if you have a lot of meetings, let's say somebody like me, who I probably would have like 5 meetings in a whole week. You don't need that kind of strength, but if you are somebody that's meeting 5 times in one day, then you'll probably need to make sure that your Wi-Fi is up to the standards. So I will reach out to whoever my host is to verify that. Of course, this dog is just going to do what dogs do. Another thing is, of course, when you think about like your budget, you know what I mean? Like, one of the things that is super important is like sitting down and actually being realistic with yourself about the costs that it will take to travel for however long you intend on being out. I think that it is more, personally, I think that it's best to kind of look at the expenses week over week. Since we aren't like living from a traditional perspective of like in one location 1 month all the time, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not like, I pay the first of the month and then my bills are paid for housing at least. It's like, no, I'll pay for a week and then don't want to be here again for another week, so we're gonna hop to another location. So I think it's easy to go over budget in operating that way. So it's important to know, like, I'm trying to spend $250 per week. And then sometimes you might go, let's say 1 week you end up splurging a little bit and spend $350. Okay, then that means that next week I will bring down the budget. The next location you'll go under budget, or maybe the next 2 locations you go under budget. I think that there's something to be said about the freedom of being able to do that. The freedom of being able to say, like, this week I want to splurge a little bit. This week I want to be a little bit more near the water. But then next week I know that in order to be within my budget, I need to be inland, and I need to make sure that I am not, I'm sorry, I got distracted by somebody. I need to make sure that I am not going over the budget, at least for this week. So if I went over budget 1 week, then I'm going to make sure that I'm under budget for another week. If I go over budget for 2 weeks, then that means for 2 weeks left of this month, I need to be far under budget to make sure that my budget balances out. And so I think little things like that is super helpful in kind of like mapping this out and getting a real strategy down, because I think it is easy to become overwhelmed, but I don't know whether being overwhelmed is enough for you to not take action and do it. You know what I mean? Like, some people are not doing it because they are just not strategizing. strategize. Like literally, it's one step in front of the other. I've said in the video before, I am no different than you. Like, I just, I, this takes priority for me. This is my life. You know what I mean? Like, this is not like an addition to, this is my life. This is the life that I'm choosing to live. And that means that I have to structure my world in a way that I get to be able to live this life based off of the actions that I take. So when I say that it is not that you lack vision, it's not that you lack a vision. You know what you want to do. You envision yourself living a life similar to this or maybe different, but you envision where you're going to be at. You just need to strategize. You need to literally get about the work of strategizing about what you want to do. Another thing is, we broke our lease and we had to reach out to our landlord to kind of, not our landlord, but the rental agency, the rental people, and, kind of find out like, hey, can you send me another copy of my lease because we didn't have it on hand? Send us another copy of our lease. We looked through the lease. We saw that there was a clause that said that you could break your lease as long as you gave a 2-month notice, and then you would have to make a 1-month payment. And so when we did the numbers, okay, so we can give a 2-month notice and give them 1 month. Our rent was $2,500. So we'll break the lease, give $2,500. That is opposed to paying. I think we had about like 5 months left on the lease. That is opposed to paying 10 grand. So giving a 2-month notice, paying 1 month of $2,500, it's cheaper than paying $10,000. And so for us, the strategy was like, well, we could actually use the rest of this money to live in another country for way lower. Why wouldn't we? And so it really is about like stepping outside of yourself, looking at the world differently than you've always looked at it. And then figuring out what is the next and first best step to take, And for us, the next and first best step was sending in our intent to vacate, notice to vacate. We gave them exactly 60 days. And then after that, you pay whatever your fee is. And then you start strategizing about getting out. And quite honestly, depending on how much stuff you got and the worth of your stuff, as you're selling off things, it also is bringing in more money for you to be able to help with your move. I'm telling you, the biggest thing is just going through the process of moving. It's going through the process of selling things and pulling things out, and you know what I mean, like getting rid. That is the biggest headache. But what you gain from it all is way more, you know what I mean? You gain way more than you lose in the situation. And also too, it's working that muscle that I've said. It's reminding yourself that like you can change your life at any moment, that this is your life, and that at any moment you can say, I no longer want to do this. Even if those people at the place where we lived at, even if they gave us hell, even if they say, no, you need to see the lease through, okay, I'll just break the lease because I don't want to be here anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to stay here anymore, and I'm not obligated to stay here anymore. And I would much have preferred them just say, you need to pay us for the next 4 or 5 months, and then you can go. I mean, that would have even been better. I would have been willing to do that before I would have been willing to stay in an environment that I no longer want to be in. You know what I mean? So again, you don't lack vision, you just lack strategy. And that is, I would rather lack strategy than I would lack vision. Some people don't even have the vision for where they want to do next, for where they want to go at with their lives next. And so you have the vision. You know where you want to go at. Quite honestly, you know what it takes to get where you need to go at. You just need to start strategizing. And so I wanted to at least help you if the travel world is what you're looking for, if being a digital nomad is kind of what you're envisioning for your life, I wanted to at least help you there, to give you some pointers where it might make sense for you from a strategic perspective of how to get started. I think it's super important to make sure that we untell ourselves different stories. And I know that for a lot of people, they are telling themselves that this is the hardest thing to do, that that I got to just go. Let me tell you something. Most of my belongings are in storage right now. You know what I mean? The little bit that we have left is in a storage, paying $20 a month in a storage, So start unconditioning yourself from these stories. I'm here to tell you that it is not as difficult as it seems. You got to put one foot in front of the other. You got to get started. And because the world is waiting on you. The world, my friends, is out here. It is waiting on you. It is literally calling your name. So and I'm not saying that this is everybody's story, this is everybody's desire, or even everybody's dream, but if this happens to be yours, just know that it might feel like a lot of things in between where you are at and where you're trying to get to, but it's doable, one step in front of the other. Focus on a vision, and make sure that the vision is supported by the strategy. And you can lay out the strategy points on your own. You could kind of like go through what makes sense for your life. Everything that I did won't make sense for you. Maybe it will. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I don't mind at all. I think that this is a beautiful life, and I encourage anybody who wants this kind of life to jump into it. You know what I mean? Because life is passing us all by. Today is all that you have, and sitting somewhere for 6 more months that's not even guaranteed for you. You know what I mean? For what? You know what I mean? Get out here, get out into the world, you know what I mean? Experience it. Just know that there are many people. I'm not the only one. There is many people traveling the world. There's many people who've decided that their life is more than just the day-to-day mundaneness of a 9 to 5, of taking care of kids, of whatever the thing that you're sick of. There is more to life than that thing, And so like I said, just get about it. You got the vision. Let's get started with the work. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And as always, I appreciate you for listening and watching.